What's up, everyone? Ethan DeVilliers here. We're back with top 50 random questions. So let's kick this thing off. First question is, what is your favorite time of the day and why? Definitely nighttime. I feel like nighttime, your body releases melatonin. And then, I don't know, there's something nostalgic about watching TV, drinking your caffeine, alcohol, whatever the case may be. And I don't know, night vibes are the best vibes. Two, what makes you happy? Beating my meat. Three, describe your job to a 6-year-old. I'm that guy that serves his country in the green uniform. What are 3 words that best describe to you? That best describe me? White, 24, built like a tank. What always brings a smile to your face? Annoying my wife. How do you contribute to making the world a better place? By making these inspirational videos in order to educate the misguided children and teenagers that just so happen to be men and women in today's society. Or at least hoping that I do that. If you could be any age for the rest of your life, which would you choose? I feel like my prime years are way past me. At 19 years old, I was way more athletic. I had way more energy. And the thing down there got up every single day. Now, it's a contest on whether or not. What is my favorite animal? Favorite animal is a wolf. I have it right here on my titty. If I could pull this down and show you all. Maybe not the best, but yeah, wolf. Which celebrity would I choose to be my best friend? Adam Sandler, more than likely. I feel like that would be a good time. If you could only wear one color for the rest of your life, which would you choose? Black. Black everything. Black is forever the best outfit choice. What is your favorite memory of us? Is Google really asking me my favorite memory? My wife's in the room. What are your goals for the next year? Don't look at me like that. My goals for the next year, I currently have 18,000 followers on TikTok, hoping that I can double that by this time around next year, minimally, and I hope that I can get at least 10,000 views on a YouTube video. I would feel pretty accomplished on that, but I guess people don't like me as much as I like myself. What bad habit would you like to get or rid myself of? I want to get better at public speaking or just speaking to a camera in general. I want to get so good to the point where I'm so inspirational and so motivational that even though I freestyle all of my speeches, sometimes I get stuck. But yeah, I just want to work on that. How would you behave differently with fewer inhibitions? Well, first off, I'd have to learn what the word inhibitions mean. I'm assuming that it means something internally that stops you from becoming what you want to be. And with that being said, I don't know, probably more savage. What positive things have happened recently? I can only tell you the negative things that happened recently. People keep getting shot and killed. Don't know what happened positive. I mean, went to Costco, it's all pessimistic at this point. Only positive thing is I got off of work early today. What are some of your most prized possessions? Life. What's something you want to do before you die that you've never done? Something that I want to do before I die? That's a good question. We'll have to get back to that. I want to create a legacy, have a family, have a mansion, have a nice car, a car nicer than the one I got. And yeah, really what I want to do before I die is live. I think that's a good answer. What's something surprising about me? Something surprising about me is if you saw where I grew up and how I act and the person that I am today, you probably would be surprised. considering that I come from a small town and now this is who I am. What's something you made or done that you're proud of? Something that I made that I'm proud of. These YouTube videos of training discipline and building purpose and staying true to my word and documenting all of that progress. So yeah, that would be the answer for that. What do I love to spend money on? I can tell you what I don't like spending my money on. And it just so happens to be in this room at this point in time. But something that I love to spend my money on just so happens to be the same thing. So it's crazy how that works, you know. Good and bad, they just equal each other out, and then that's what we call balance. And there's no balance in my account. How did you meet one of your best friends? Dude, that little ugly my beautiful best friend stuck his long neck over the fence. And this is when I was 9 years old. And I was playing football with the other neighbor's kids. And he asked if he could play. And the first thing I thought to myself is, who is this fruity kid trying to play football with me? But me being the nice person I am, I said, yeah, of course. I was right about the fruity allegations. What's one of your favorite quotes? You know, one of my favorite quotes is, if you do what you always done, you'll get what you always got. And what's that mean? Basically, what you've done in your life as of now has got you to the point of where you are at. So if you expect something to change and you keep doing the same thing, it's never going to happen. You have to get out of your comfort zone. Be comfortable with doing the uncomfortable. And from there on in, maybe, just maybe, your life won't suck as bad as it does. Get out my face, email. Where are we at? What are your lifetime goals? Discussed earlier in this video, legacy, having a family, having that mansion, having money, that way I can have control of my freedom, working on my own schedule and not somebody else's, not somebody else trying to tell me what I can and can't do with my life. And yeah, honestly, just building a legacy and inspiring, motivating millions of people, thousands, that's fine with me too. Whatever the case may be, I'm here for it. What's on my bucket list? 1 million subscribers, YouTube. What are you most thankful for? Meeting my wife is one of the most beautiful things that could ever happen to you in life, is whenever you find true love. And I feel like from that moment on, that's what turns a boy into a man, because once you have something to protect, care, and look out for, it makes you feel that purpose inside, and it makes you want to be better consistently every single day. And then it plays into that discipline. So if you haven't found love yet, work on yourself, because you have to love yourself or you can love somebody else. What are you most afraid of? Spiders. I went to war yesterday on my patio. My patio yesterday, I maybe killed 10 to 15 spiders with Dawn dish soap and hot water in a bottle. And my patio was so dirty, covered with leaves, because this apartment building sucks. They were hiding under the leaves. So I was over here trying to scoop them up and throw them over the patio, and they have spiders over here with spears coming at me full force. But they got blown away from my wave, my Dawn dish soap wave. What do you feel most passionate about? I feel most passionate about speaking my opinion, because I like to observe, analyze, and listen to people talk. But I feel very passionate whenever somebody is wrong and I have to prove to them that they're wrong. I don't know if that's a narcissistic thing to do, that's a bad thing to do, but I don't mean it in a coming off as an asshole type of way. I mean it as more in a, I'm trying to help you and educate you type of way. So teaching, that's my passion. How do you like to spend your free time? Making these videos, spending time with my wife, gym. Sometimes I play games, but really that's just to pass time and avoid me from looking at the bottle over there in the corner. What would your perfect day look like? Perfect day, wake up, work, smash, work, smash. Then I go to sleep. All right, the gym fits somewhere in there. What goal do you want to accomplish? Why does it keep asking me about my goals? Don't care. What is a question you like to ask strangers to start a conversation? You know, most of the time that I speak to strangers, it's a simple greeting, like, hey, how are you? And then it sparks a further conversation, but we usually work in the same affiliation in the military, and I probably heard something about them, or they've heard something about me, so usually that's what sparks the conversation. Like, so you're new here at this command, you know, and then that sparks a greater conversation. Or I heard you were interested in going to college, or I heard that you just did this or done that. So it makes it easy. What's something abnormal that I've eaten? Ass. Just kidding, I've never done that. What would you do differently if no one was judging you? If no one was judging me, you know, I think I would speak up more. I think it's still an insecurity that we all hold. A lot of people, even with their opinion, you speak up to people that you know, but I think I would speak up more to people that I don't know. But also with understanding and emotional intelligence, it's hard to always speak up because you're scared of the alternative. And what is the alternative? For example, if something's small, like somebody cuts you off, you would love to speak up in that moment due to emotion. But sometimes it's better to let it go, because if you let it go and they don't know and they're just like, whatever, maybe they're ego driven and they said something about you, it is what it is. The bigger man walks away is what they say, right? Well, if you try to be the bigger man, you may not walk away, and that's the alternative, because somebody may pull out a gun or knife on you and stab you or shoot you. You never know with this world and how crazy everything has got. What's something you're proud of breaking a habit of? What am I proud of breaking a habit of? Listening to what other people have to say to me. I broke that habit such a long time ago, because I'm not going to sit here and listen to somebody's opinion if they're not where I want to be in life. If they're trying to give me life advice and I'm looking at their life and I'm like, what are you talking about? Then I'm like, what are we talking about? See? How has fear impacted my life? I don't really have any fears. I was scared of the spiders, fight or flight. Guess what? I fought. They flew. They no longer live on my patio. They migrated somewhere west. If I could learn any skill instantly, what would it be? We're on question 37, by the way. I think I would learn MMA instantly. For some reason, I have a deep belief down inside of me that if I were to practice fighting at an early age, then I would probably be the best of all time. And I'm dead serious about that. What fictional character do you relate to most? Fictional character? I don't know, Superman? People be calling me Clark Kent. When my hair was blonde, I was Captain America. Yeah, one of those two. What is my favorite song or artist right now? I don't really have a favorite song or artist. I like What Did I Miss by Drake. My favorite artist, it's got to be somewhere between Eminem, Drake, or NF. Song-wise, though, there's a lot of good songs, but the one that resonates with me the most is probably Remember This by NF, because it's very meaningful. If I could have any superpower, what would it be and why? Teleportation. Even if you were caught, you could just teleport. If anything bad were ever to happen, you could teleport. If somebody shot a gun at you at point blank range, you could teleport. Teleportation has to be one of the best superpowers in the world. Also, if I needed to be at work, teleport. Then I would just teleport home, because who the hell is staying at work? What's the best piece of advice you've ever received? The best piece of advice I've ever received. I feel like I'm always the one giving advice. There's not a lot of people in this world that I've heard give good advice, honestly. A lot of them are misconstrued, misguided, and most of their advice, it either sucks or I've already known. So this is a hard question for me. I don't say that to sound arrogant. I say that because it's the truth. Most of y'all take forever to figure out the things that people with higher intelligence have known pretty much practically their whole life. But if I have to choose one piece of advice that I ever received that's the best, it would be something along the lines of like the eternal satisfaction. It's an Andrew Tate quote. Something about the eternal satisfaction of being a nobody just by having instant dopamine or these small happy moments is not, it doesn't match up with being somebody, basically. I can't explain it, dude. I'm bad at this. I'm gonna be honest, we're gonna skip that. Go to karaoke. I don't do karaoke. What's a skill I'd love to master? We talked about this. Book that's changed your perspective. Goosebumps. That's all I got. No, I don't have no books that ever changed my perspective. In fact, most of the times when I read books, I can understand why they would think that way. But at the same time, you have to look at it from different angles. So we all interpret it differently. What does success mean to you? Now you have to learn to measure success in different metrics. But one thing I've learned, especially with this social media journey and with my career, is whenever you have nothing and you're just starting out, just having a little bit of something is enough to make you feel happy or important, because you don't realize how big the platform could get. But once you get to a certain platform and that falls off, now your measure of success is where that platform was left off at. So if you're not meeting that expectation, you feel like a failure. So it just really gets worse and worse as time progresses, unless you break through that plateau. Yeah, so what does success mean to me? I can tell you what success looks like. Success looks like having a house, having a family that loves you, having a nice car that you don't have to keep fixing on the daily or breaking down on you on the daily. Success is just having the basic necessities of life. But that's just base level success, not major level success. What's something that always makes you laugh? Whenever I see my wife mad, there's something in me that just makes me want to laugh, because it's like a little ball of fury. It's like a little fireball going off, mad about things that are so easily passable. What's your favorite hobby? The gym. One of my most memorable trips that I've taken. This is gonna sound sad, but all of my most memorable trips are filled with alcohol and partying, which makes me almost not remember them that well. I just know that they were fun because I was doing the things that give you the instant dopamine that makes it fun. But back in 2021, still young, fresh, going to Florida for the first time was probably one of my most memorable trips, because it was just me and my best friends. It was my first time having money and just doing the basic things like going to the gym, going out to the beach, seeing a new place. Like, that was fun to me, and that's all it took. But as I've gained more life experience, something like that would be so dull and mundane to me that it wouldn't even be that fun anymore. And that's what sucks, because as humans, we're adapting and we're progressing in everyday life. And once you've done things a significant amount of times, they're no longer as fun as they were the first time. It's like when you've been playing a video game ever since you were a kid. Video games are now no longer as fun as they were when I was 10 years old. And now we're on question 49, and then we have question 50. So what is something you find beautiful in everyday life? My wife. If I could time travel, what era would you visit? See, this question right here, to me, is a bad one because there's no better time than the present. And when 2040 comes around, I feel like I'm going to be saying the same thing. There's no better time than the present. Where you're at now is the best that you'll probably ever be. Now, if you're older and there was a time in life where everything about your life was better, I could see how you want to try time travel back to that era. Anyways, that concludes the 50 random questions for today. Most of it was about myself, so if you're interested in me, I'm sure that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you all played along and learned something about yourself. Maybe you answered these questions on the other side of this screen. And with that being said, please like, follow, subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks.